Most men believe they understand women because they listen to her words. But a woman's soul doesn't speak in sentences. It speaks in signals, and that is the one thing almost every man misses. A woman can laugh with you. She can stay loyal. She can give you time, attention, even her body, and still feel unseen, because what she wants to be understood is not what she says. It's what she feels before she speaks. Men listen to words. A woman feels energy. This is the core misunderstanding. A man processes reality through logic, what was said, what was done, what is visible. A woman's soul processes reality through tone, presence, consistency, emotional safety. So when a man says, "But I didn't say anything wrong," she isn't reacting to words. She's reacting to what your presence told her nervous system. The woman's soul is always scanning, not consciously. Instinctively, she senses, are you emotionally available? Are you stable when she's vulnerable? Do you stay present when things get uncomfortable? Her soul asks these questions, long before her mouth does. Why this one thing is missed? Because it's invisible. Men are taught, fix the problem, say the right thing, prove love with action. But a woman's soul is not asking to be fixed. It's asking to be felt with. The moment a woman feels seen, something shifts. She softens, she opens, she trusts. Not because you impressed her, but because her soul recognized that you were emotionally present, not just physically there. Why a woman can love a man and still feel lonely. This confuses many men. They think, I provide, I show up, I'm loyal. But if her emotions are handled like problems instead of experiences, her soul feels alone even in love. The silent test every woman's soul runs. She watches what happens when she's quiet, she's overwhelmed, she's not at her best. Does he stay grounded? Or does he withdraw, defend, or dismiss? This is not manipulation. This is survival instinct. A woman does not fall in love first. She feels safe first. And this decision is not made by her mind. It is made by her nervous system. Safety is not comfort, it's stability. Most men think safety means kindness, protection, reassurance. But a woman's soul defines safety differently. Safety means emotional consistency, calm during tension, presence without pressure, strength without dominance. Her soul relaxes only when it senses emotional steadiness. Why she pulls away without warning. From the outside, it looks confusing. She was warm yesterday, distant today. Men ask, what changed? What changed is not her feelings. It's her sense of safety. Something small told her nervous system. Unpredictability, emotional absence, subtle dismissal. Her soul responds before logic can explain it. The woman's soul remembers energy, not events. You may remember what you meant, what you intended, what you said. Her soul remembers how she felt afterward. Whether she had to protect herself emotionally, whether she felt calmer or more tense near you ought. This is why explanations don't always repair distance, why logic can make it worse. When a man tries to explain instead of presence, her soul hears, you are wrong to feel this way. Not because that's what he said, but because emotion was met with logic instead of understanding. Her nervous system tightens. Distance grows. The moment she decides you are safe, this moment is quiet. It happens when you stay grounded while she's emotional. You don't rush her feelings. You don't make her vulnerability about yourself. Her soul notes, he can hold space. And when a woman's soul feels held, attachment deepens naturally. Why she tests without meaning to. She doesn't plan tests. But her soul notices how you respond when she's silent, how you react to her sadness, whether you stay present when she's not easy. These moments answer a deeper question: can I relax here? A woman bonds to emotional safety, not promises. You don't earn her soul by convincing. You earn it by regulating yourself. Calmness, consistency, emotional availability. These speak louder than any declaration. At first, excitement attracts her, but depth is what makes her stay. And this is where many men lose her, without ever realizing why. Excitement speaks to the mind, depth speaks to the soul. Excitement is chemistry, Eva, E4. Intensity, attention. Depth is emotional awareness, patience, consistency, the ability to sit with silence. A woman's soul is not built for constant stimulation. It is built for emotional grounding. Why excitement eventually exhausts her. Intensity without stability feels unsafe over time. When emotions run high but clarity is low, her nervous system stays alert. She may smile, she may engage, but her soul never fully rests. And a woman cannot bond deeply where she cannot relax. The moment she stops explaining, this moment is critical and often misunderstood. She stops explaining not because she doesn't care, but because she no longer feels received. Her soul learns, my feelings create tension here, so she chooses silence over vulnerability. Why men misread her silence? Men often think, she's calm now, she's fine. But silence can mean emotional withdrawal, protection, quiet disappointment. A woman's soul doesn't shut down loudly, it fades quietly. What depth actually looks like to her. Depth is not grand gestures. It's listening without interrupting, staying present without fixing, responding instead of reacting, consistency even when nothing is happening. Her soul watches patterns, not promises. Why she chooses the man who feels steady. The man who feels safe is not always the most exciting, but he is emotionally predictable, calm under pressure, comfortable with vulnerability, and that steadiness allows her soul to open fully. The painful truth most men miss: a woman doesn't leave because you weren't enough. She leaves because her soul didn't feel held. And once her soul withdraws, words can't bring it back. Depth creates safety. Safety creates attachment. Attachment creates lasting love. Excitement may open the door, but only depth makes her stay. A woman's soul doesn't leave after one big mistake. It leaves after many small moments, where it didn't feel safe. Why reactions matter more than intentions. Men often focus on intention. I didn't mean it that way. But a woman's soul responds to impact. She notices, tone changes. Emotional withdrawal. Defensiveness, impatience. Not because she's sensitive, but because her nervous system is designed to detect instability. The fastest way to damage emotional trust, reacting instead of responding. When emotions are met with dismissal, irritation, logic, silence, her soul learns, my feelings are inconvenient here. This realization changes everything. Why she stops being herself. Once her soul feels unsafe, she adapts. She becomes quieter, more agreeable, emotionally distant. Not to manipulate, but to protect what's left of her emotional self. The misunderstood moment men miss. When she says, it's fine, it rarely means fine. It means, I don't feel safe enough to explain anymore. And when a woman stops explaining, the connection has already shifted. Why apologies sometimes don't work. Apologies repair words. But her soul needs changed emotional behavior. She watches. Do you become more present? Do you regulate yourself better? Do you hold space instead of defending? If behavior stays the same, her soul stays guarded. the slow withdrawal most men don't see. She doesn't argue. She doesn't beg. She simply feels less. And when a woman's soul disengages, reconnection becomes very difficult. A woman's soul bonds to emotional maturity. Not perfection, not intensity, but the ability to remain calm, stay present, handle emotion without making it personal. This is what builds unshakable trust. A woman's soul does not choose loudly. It chooses slowly. And when it chooses depth over excitement, presence over promises. What emotional leadership really means. This isn't control. This isn't dominance. Emotional leadership is staying grounded when emotions rise, listening without becoming defensive, holding space instead of fixing previa, being consistent, not intense. Her soul relaxes when it doesn't have to manage your emotions. Why she bonds deeply with one man, not because he was perfect, but because she felt emotionally safe being herself. She didn't have to shrink or perform. Her vulnerability was met with calm strength. A woman's soul attaches to the place it can rest. The shift that changes everything. The shift is simple but rare. From "I need to be understood" to "I want to understand." When she feels you are genuinely curious about her inner world, her walls lower naturally. Why some women stay even when things are hard. She stays when repair feels possible, growth feels mutual line, presence doesn't disappear under pressure. Her soul doesn't need perfection, it needs effort that feels safe. The final truth, most men realize too late. A woman doesn't want to be chased forever. She wants to feel chosen every day in small moments, in reactions, in emotional availability. That's the one thing most men miss. Ask yourself honestly, when she shares her feelings, do I try to understand or to defend? Your answer tells you whether her soul will stay. Here's the part almost no one talks about. By the time a woman explains less, her soul has already made a decision. Not to leave yet, but to observe quietly. Her soul enters wait-and-see mode. She stops arguing. She stops correcting. She stops asking for understanding. Instead, she watches. Do his actions change without reminders? Does he notice her emotional shifts on his own? Does he grow or stay the same? This phase is silent and decisive. Why she gives you one last invisible chance. A woman's soul is patient but not foolish. She gives space, not to punish, but to see who you are without pressure. If emotional maturity appears naturally, her soul softens again. If not, distance becomes permanent. The painful truth. Most men think things are calm now, but calm is not always peace. Sometimes it's detachment. When a woman's soul detaches, she still smiles, she still talks, but she no longer invests emotionally. Why words no longer move her? At this stage, promises sound familiar. Explanations feel late. Apologies feel incomplete. Her soul is watching behavior, not listening to reassurance. The moment she lets go internally, this moment is subtle. She no longer imagines a future. She stops emotionally reacting. She feels lighter at the thought of distance. Externally, nothing explodes. Internally, everything ends. What could still change the outcome? Only one thing: consistent emotional presence without being asked. Chasing, over-explaining, dramatic gestures, but steady, calm. Emotional responsibility, genuine curiosity about her inner world. Rare but powerful, there is a painful imbalance in emotional timing. Women feel the distance early, men feel the loss late, and by the time it hits him, her soul is already far away. Why she starts grieving while still present. A woman doesn't leave when she leaves. She leaves while she's still there. She processes disappointment, unmet needs, emotional loneliness, quietly, alone. By the time she walks away physically, her soul has already mourned the relationship. Why men don't feel it at first. Men often feel secure in presence. As long as she's there, it feels stable. They don't notice her emotional effort decreasing, her questions disappearing, her silence growing heavier. The loss hasn't reached them yet. The moment it finally hits him, it hits when she stops reacting. She no longer seeks reassurance. She feels emotionally neutral. This neutrality is devastating because it means attachment has already loosened. Why he wants to fix it now? Only now does he feel urgency, fear, regret. But urgency is not what her soul needs anymore. She needed presence before the silence. Why she may never come back emotionally. Not because she doesn't care, but because returning would mean reopening a place where she felt unseen. Her soul protects itself, and once emotional safety is broken deeply, it rarely restores fully. The hardest truth. Love doesn't usually end in anger. It ends in acceptance, and acceptance is quiet. A woman's soul leaves early so her heart doesn't break later. A man's heart breaks later because he didn't feel the leaving. This mismatch is why regret comes too late.